Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Nothing But Net and Christie's Court combining for the Field of 68. We're going to give you a little breakdown of the landscape hire, landslide hire, whatever you want to call it, groundbreaking. It's got the word land in it because it's landmark. Christie is Kim Mulkey taking on the LSU job after 21 years at Baylor, 3 national championships, and an incredibly decorated resume. Your initial reaction to hearing the news that Mulkey was going back home?
Well, I tell you what, first of all, thank you for this conversation because it's very timely. And my initial reaction when her name was being mixed in with the possibility of going to LSU and going back home, I was like, there's no way she's going to do that. Like, she's been at Baylor. She's built Baylor up to be what it is now. It's just a perennial team in the NCAA tournament, 3 national titles. She's won Coach of the Year several times over. I think it was like 23 titles in the Big 12, it's all the conference and tournament included in that. So I was like, there's no way. I mean, you take all that time to build it. There's no way you're just going to walk away at this juncture. But when I found out that she did it, Debbie, you know me, right? So I have the alert on my phone, and I think I was with my daughter, Bree, and I was like, oh, she's going to LSU. Mulkey's going to LSU. And then Bree's like, no way. Because I think I think maybe I kind of saturated her way of thinking, like, there's no way she's going to go. So she was also like, no way. So I just think, going back home, the heartstrings do pull you. And I think this is obviously what has happened with Kim Mulkey, but I mean, she played at La Tech. I get it. She grew up there. I get it. She said she missed the food and everything like that, but I just really did not think, Debbie, that she would do that. And I feel some kind of way for the incoming recruits who have committed there and the players at Baylor. I mean, it's tough. I mean, she said there were a lot of tears, but I think they were surprised, just like a lot of people were, including myself.
Yeah. So I had the opposite reaction as soon as the job opened up, and Nikki did a good job, and Nikki's going to be fine. Nikki Fargas, who's going to move on, and rumor is, to the Las Vegas Aces and be the president or general manager. I'm not really sure what title Bill Lambier, but Nikki's going to be fine, and Nikki is a wonderful person who I'm glad she's staying in the game. When I heard that the job was going to open up, I immediately thought Kim was the right person, and I definitely thought LSU had enough money to get her. Scott Woodward, the athletic director, has made big splash hires in the past. He hired at Texas A&M. He hired, the football coach. I just lost his name, from Florida State, Jimbo Fisher. Okay. And then Buzz Williams at Texas A&M, and when he took the LSU job, I mean, Kim Mulkey, she was making the rumor was, over $2 million at Baylor. And, that's a lot of money in Waco, Texas. And she raised her family there. And, even though she was raised in Louisiana. But then when Scott Drew won the national championship and the way the season ended for them, I could definitely see the heartstrings pulling on Kim Mulkey to go home. And, she's a Naismith Hall of Fame coach. That's the one thing that I think was missing from her resume, but that's the only thing. And she's going to have that put on her resume, check that off, very soon, like in a few weeks. I think May 15, actually, I think is the Naismith Hall of Fame. So, when Scott Woodward in his comment says they hired a champion, they did hire a champion. And I know that, winning the titles and the championships and the things that Kim's accustomed to, it's going to take a little time in that league. Pat Summitt didn't win 11 or 12 straight SEC championships like Kim won in the Big 12, but I'm sure there were people like Vic Schaefer at Texas clicking his heels and throwing a party. I'm sure the rest of the Big 12 is like, get her out, goodbye. And then to your point about the players, just go to LSU. You can transfer and go wherever you want. Do whatever you want. So if NaLyssa Smith packs and follows Kim to LSU, I won't be surprised.
Right.
I do think that it's going to be really interesting to see.
Absolutely. And with the transfer portal, I mean, are the numbers correct? I keep hearing over 1,000 in the portal.
Yeah, I think there's over 1,400 on the men's side. I think there are 1,000. And if you do the math, I mean, in the Power Five, with, I'm going to be off by a little bit here, but like 64 or 65
Right.
Power Five teams, there's like 950 D1 scholarships available on the women's side. So, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work a year from now. I understand the shuffling and the switching, and I don't know
Right.
how freshmen are going to do it. You know,
Right.
it's going to be tough.
Right. And I also think it impacts, the 2022 class. I mean, that's the class I think it's really going to be tough for them to find a spot because, the players who are remaining in competition at the collegiate level, they're going to stay. Like, well, I'm going to stay for that next year. I get that year back, so I'm staying. So now you're backlogging that way. And then you're not really looking at that 22 class. You're looking at the portal before you look at the 22 class.
That's
So
right.
it's going to be tough, but I know, Kim Mulkey, I know her and her staff, I know they're going to do a great job recruiting. And like you said, maybe NaLyssa Smith does roll over there and and hop over to LSU. And I wouldn't be surprised because that's so tough. I mean, the portal is what it is for the kids. And you're going to go to a situation where you feel that you're a better fit and everything like that in a certain system. So I understand that too. But when you have players, the reason why I said about the players is because now you have a new coach coming into Baylor. And who knows whether or not you fit in that system or that coach's philosophy because you weren't recruited, obviously, by this new coach coming in. So that's why I think it's a little more complicated for the players when a coach leaves rather than a coach when a player leaves. I think they have more resources where they can get players in who fit their system, but players can't call for a coach to come in. Yeah, you're a coach who fits what I do. And this is what my former coach liked about me. So they just don't have that same kind of freedom in that respect. So that's why I kind of feel some kind of way about them being there. But they could leave and go to LSU. I get it, but it's still that's a daunting task for those young women to kind of maneuver through at this point.
I think that's what they're all facing is the challenge of, is the grass greener on the other side, or is there enough tough love that I can stick it out, figure it out. And, maybe I'll wait and see who the new coach is going to be. And then I have options. But
Right.
before we go into who the new coach is, I want to tell you or ask you and speak to you about my initial feeling about Kim going once I knew she was in.
Yeah.
The overwhelming feeling for me was, man, this is incredible. They are making an investment. This is not just signing some coach to come in, check a box, and pay him a X number of dollars. I mean, this is a big, fat investment. And when Kim asked in the press conference when I was watching it, how many people have already bought a season ticket, and there's over 600 people bought tickets today, I thought that was really good. But what really got me was the governor is there. The person for higher education, the Commission on Education is there. The president is part of introducing her, which is typical protocol for something like this. But the pure passion, the energy, the enthusiasm for what they think Kim can build. And you've been to the PMAC, man, that place can be rocking.
Yes.
And I have no doubt that when South Carolina rolls in there, or when Texas A&M rolls in there, or some of the other, teams that have legitimate chances to win will go in there, that place will be rocking. And, Kim is a unique individual. I mean, she is a unique character in our game, and I respect it. I respect how much she won, how much she continues to win. I love that all of her players graduate that stay for 4 years. I think that's a mark of a great teacher and coach. But the flat out investment, everybody's at a high right now, and I just hope that it stays high and builds from there. That this is not the crescendo that she's coming home and we're going to make this $2.5+ million investment in Kim Mulkey. It's that they truly are going to get people in the stands because the quality of play is going to be good.
No question. And I love that you brought that up about how she said how many people by a show of hands, have already purchased their season tickets. And then she said, I'm going to flip it around. How many haven't? And then people raise their hands, and she's like, "Well, why not?" She's like,
She's going to call you out now. She
she's
is
gonna.
going to call you out.
I love that, and it is going to be great for the SEC, obviously, to have someone like Kim Mulkey to be running that program there, and the recruiting is going to be insanely good just because of who she is and what her resume looks like. I think there's so much credibility, and she kind of downplayed that, which was very humble to see her say, like, it's not someone like me. Like, I'm just from, wherever part of Louisiana she's from. I forgot
Tickfaw.
What is it?
Tickfaw.
Tickfaw. Yeah. I was like, I've never heard of that in my life. So when she said it, it was like, but when she said that, and then she almost got caught up, like she almost got a little emotional with that, because I think she flashed back to when she was that little girl, and it was almost like that little girl was standing up there when she, said that. Like, I appreciate that you say someone of my caliber, but I'm just this little kid inside, and
I mean, you remember the cornrows with the pigtails, right? And telling Pam Kelly and Janice Lawrence what and where to go and get, little tiny, bossy. Kim's a winner. Kim won. If you read her, I've read her book. If you read her book, it's really interesting. I think I'm gonna have to go back and read it again now, because she references her upbringing and how much Louisiana means to her. And there is a lot of pride down there, and they will be hooting and hollering, man. That'll be a great place to call a game next year.
No doubt. No doubt. And, just to have her entire family there, with her daughter, who was a player for her, but was she on staff with her as well at one point?
Yes.
She was on staff with her, and now she's expecting her second baby. And just to have that camaraderie of home, and just, she said that over and over. We should count how many times she said home in the.
Well, I was going to say, good thing it wasn't a drinking game, Christy, because if we had to take a drink every time she said going home or referenced home, been trouble.
That wouldn't have lasted long for me, halfway through the first time she said home, I would be like a hot mess. But yeah, she definitely was like referencing that a lot. And there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, to have that kind of comfort, number one, to know, her mom was there and everything like that, still lives in the area. Parents are getting older, you want to be closer. I think that's kind of a pull for everyone. You've seen that kind of measuring itself with recruits. Like, a lot of recruits are staying closer to home than, flying across the country and going to school now. I think, it's true for them, but I also think now a lot of coaches are coming back home. When you see that happening as a trend because of COVID and all these things going on.
Christy, I love the way they presented Mulkey today. I mean, the jet, the car, the fans lining up when she goes in. I mean, she was like a rock star. The fireworks are going off in the arena. I mean, what were you thinking?
I love the jet. I love that she ran down the steps in heels, and I love the purple carpet when she got off the jet. It was just all so spectacular, but they know her. They know her well. And, what was really funny was Kim Mulkey said, "Hey, I've got to go back. I've got a closet to pack." That was the first thing she said, but she's just so extravagant with her style and her passion for the game. All of that is all in the same line. So they knew that about her. So they just did it right. They just laid out the scene for her the right way. And it was just full of respect, a ton of media there. And I don't know, the fireworks were, I think, the cherry on top for sure.
And I'm thinking about Moon. Moon Ursin.
Yes.
All those people that didn't raise their hand about buying season tickets, man, Moon's going to be all over them, because you got to believe Moon's coming home with Kim. I mean, Moon Ursin is a remarkable young woman to me. I love watching her. I am drawn to her because she didn't play a lot. And then all of a sudden she's got this huge role by the time she's a senior, because she's stuck with the process. And that process is going to take her right on down the road to Baton Rouge. I got to believe there's going to be not a bad moon rising, but a good moon rising down there in Baton Rouge.
No doubt. And a purple carpet for her too. And hey, listen, if she doesn't go to LSU, that's going to be the most shocking thing. I think she's definitely going to follow Kim Mulkey home to Louisiana and play at LSU. And yes, I mean, she's a, like you like to say, Debbie, a ticket selling player. I mean, she has all that energy, and she just plays the game hard and the right way.
So one other thing is, we were talking about how, you thought she wasn't going to go. I thought she was. The one thing that kind of threw me, though, was in the middle of the week when Jordan Lewis, who's a graduate transfer from Alabama, committed to go to Baylor. And I thought, well, certainly, if Jordan Lewis is committing, I'm sure that family, who I know the family would have vetted all of that out. And it made me think, I guess she's not going. So maybe if Jordan didn't sign anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but to me, like, it shouldn't matter. She can go wherever she wants, right?
Right. She should be able to hop, I think, and having played in the SEC, I think that's an advantage for her as well, just to, have that familiarity with the other teams in the conference. So just to know what teams feel like playing against them. So yeah, I think, no papers, no strings, right? I think she's free and easy to go ahead to LSU.
So while Kim was introducing her staff that accompanied her to LSU, that we assume she's going to keep, I did not hear two names. One was Bill Brock and the other was Satia Messer.
Right.
So I would think that Satia is a very strong candidate for the Baylor job. She's been a head coach before. She's certainly capable. She knows the kids. It's definitely going to be a different job without Kim being there. But having said that, I would put Satia on a short list of names, and I was just wondering if you had any names that you can think of that could be a good candidate for that job.
Wow, those are tough shoes to walk in, and not just because they're 4-inch heels that that Mulkey wears all the time, but I think Messer is just great. I mean, she's a fantastic recruiter, and like you said, she knows the kids, and just what I was saying before about making it comfortable for those kids. And I think that's just an easy transfer of power there. When you have someone who recruited those kids hard, got them there, and can kind of, acquiesce the whole thing and smooth it out. I know Mulkey is gone, but I'm still here. There's a lot to be said for that. Mm-hmm. And if they're looking out for the kids in that way, the emotional side of that, I think that would be a perfect hire. But, there are some names out there. I don't think Adia Barnes is going anywhere. I don't know why her name. I mean, I know why her name is being mentioned because of the success that she had, especially this year. But I just don't think she's going to leave her alma mater. She just re-upped her contract.
I know. Second time. I think she had a contract before the tournament, and then she got another one after the tournament.
Yeah,
they jacked it up.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I don't think she's going anywhere. But I think it would be flattering to her to hear from Baylor. But I just don't think that would be a move she would make. Some other names that I have heard in this short amount of time, Maka Agugwa. I mean, she has done a magnificent job at Missouri State the last couple of seasons. She was associate head coach at Michigan State before that, did a great job there. I mean, I don't know if that would be a good jump for her to get into the Big 12. I don't know if that's something that she would want to do. I mean, she's trying to build something. And like I said, I was surprised that Mulkey, after building, would decide to leave. But sometimes you're building and that's part of the building, right? So I think Amaka Agugwa would be another name that I would think of.
So that's a good name. Those are good ones. Missouri State, definitely, they went again to the Sweet 16. Really, that would have been probably Kelly Harper's last year. And then the COVID year, they would have been a Sweet 16 team, I think, because they were ranked in the top 16. And they would have posted first and second round, which means they probably would have got there. And then this year, so that's a good Coach Mox. That's a good name. Mm-hmm. I will throw Michelle Clark-Hurd in the mix. I think at Cincinnati, I think she's terrific. I think she's a big time winner. She's rebuilt a couple of programs, and I could see her at Baylor having success. I also think Natasha Adair at Delaware is another really strong. I'm a big fan of Natasha's. I think she's fantastic. She's already been with USA Basketball and done a couple of tours. She's rebuilt 3 programs. And Baylor doesn't need rebuilding, so it's not like it's a rebuilding thing. But it is going to be a different build without Mulkey there. That's for sure, because she commanded so much. Um, it was so much of her DNA and everything that they did, the way they played and how tough they were, and that kind of thing. So I also would throw like kind of a long shot. Like I think Nell Fortner would be a great candidate at Baylor.
Ah,
She's from Texas.
yeah.
She's had success at Georgia Tech. She's coached in every power league except for the Big 12. I mean, I don't know why she doesn't give that one a try. You know, I mean, she'd be just slide right on over there and take over. Just move right over, Christy.
No, I love that. I love that. What's that? What does she say? Nell, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just
You
go.
know, I don't know if the next coach will make the 2 million that Mulkey made.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't necessarily know if there's another $2 million coach out there, you know, that, I mean, I'm sure there's some coaches that they probably take it for $1 million. I mean,
Right.
Christy, you and I do it for that. Why don't we do it?
Hey,
You and I take over.
1,000 up to a little less than $1 million. I would go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Nell is a great name to throw in the hat as well. I think she, like you said, I mean, she's been fantastic. USA basketball experience too, obviously with the Olympic team, and then fantastic season this year at Georgia Tech. But that's a tough job. I mean, you got to come in there, and it's not. We're going to wait for you to materialize, and develop. And that's what Kim Mulkey is getting at LSU. She's saying it's not going to be immediate. We want to put championship banners up there, right? There are Final Four banners, but no championship banner. We want to put a championship banner, but that's not going to happen right away. But whoever takes that Baylor job, Debbie, they're going to have to, you're going to get on the treadmill and it's on 10 already. You're not going to be at 1 and 2, like jogging your way through that thing. You're going to have to get on there and you're going to be in a full sprint to stay on par with expectations. And I don't think
that's right. You got to hire the right person, right? Because that's how you're going to keep those kids. Otherwise, they're all taken off because that's what they do. That's what they're going to do. I think. I think it's just a huge, like I said, landmark. Just a major change. We've never had a shift like this in our game ever.
No.
There's never been anybody. Well, first of all, there's Pat, Gino, Kim, and Tara that have won 3. Okay. And so we've never had anyone that's won like this move to another job. It's really significant. I think it speaks to the time, to the investment in the game, where women's sports is, why LSU sees a value in what Kim Mulkey can do and what she can bring. That's exciting to me. That's the most exciting part about it. That Mulkey's going to go from 2.3 to 2.8 or whatever, okay, that's great for her and for her legacy and her family and for, but most importantly, what they're going to invest in the product there is what makes me excited, because you can't have all this other stuff if you don't have a good product, and they're going to have a good product.
No doubt. I mean, the product of the game, I think, and although the pandemic was tough for everybody, I think more eyes came to the women's game. I mean, I think it's really coming on strong. I think the people were sitting and had to watch. There's nothing else to do. You're watching the game, and now you're like, oh, snap. This is fantastic basketball, period. I don't care who's playing it. This is fantastic basketball. So now, I mean, I think this is, like you said, just a prime and ripe time to strike while the iron is hot. And no, we haven't seen anything like this on the women's side. And I was just trying to think, I'm scrambling, trying to think of, have we seen anything like this on the men's side ever?
Well,
someone who's won and won.
I think when Roy Williams left Kansas and went to North Carolina, that was kind of a coming home. That it sort of makes me think a little bit about that.
Okay.
In the women's game, I thought Vic leaving Mississippi State to go to Texas was one Power 5 to another. That was significant, but not the same as what this feels like. This feels much different. And Vic Schaefer was going to be challenging Kim Mulkey every step of the way. And I'm not saying the Big 12 is just like going to be handed to them, because that league is solid. But Oklahoma has a new coach. Now Baylor's going to have a new coach. I would think Vic Schaefer's got to be feeling pretty good about his $2 million that he makes every year. So there's another program, Texas, that's made an investment, and when you make that kind of investment, you are expecting a return. And
Absolutely.
that's where I want our game to be. I want the investment to expect the return because
Yep.
we will deliver.
That's right. And that's fair, and that's expected, and that's what it should be. That's what it is. And I think the respect follows that. And when you see coaches like Kim Mulkey saying our game is strong enough to sustain me moving from Baylor to LSU, that speaks volumes for the other 300 plus teams in Division One basketball who are competing.
She's Christy from Christy's Court, Christy Winter Scott, my dear friend, my heart. You know how much, yes,
Hey,
we're tied. We have heartstrings tied together.
we do.
Nothing but net with Debbie Antonelli. We both share the field of 68, and that's why we came together on this breaking news today about Kim Mulkey and her leaving Baylor after 21 years with 3 national championships and multiple Coach of the Year awards to take her great teaching and great coaching and great experience to LSU, which is a landmark move in our game because we've never seen anything like it. So, Christy, parting shot, if you will.
Oh, wow. I just can't wait to see what happens next in this whole move. What happens at LSU, what players decide to go there, whether they be recruits or transfers. And then obviously what happens at Baylor. Same way, like what players will not go there or will go there because of the new coach that they hire at Baylor. So a lot still remains to be seen, but it's very intriguing, and my popcorn is out and waiting to see what's next in this whole scenario. But it's just overall just fantastic for our game, Debbie. And I love you so much, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to kind of unwind all this stuff here.
Yeah, we had to share it. I had to call you and we had to get it out of our system, right? Because it's so exciting. Again, for me, it's the investment, expecting a return on the product, which I know is going to be great. And then I'm sitting here April 26th, and we're taping this at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to tell you by April 30th, at the end of the week, Kim Mulkey's going to have a full roster full of really good players ready to roll in the SEC, baby, ready to go.
Go Tigers, right? That's what she said. I believe it.
Go Tigers. Christy, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thank you, Debbie. You too, honey.